What's up, everybody? This is Danny Thompson. This is Beyond the Buzzer for July 6, 2020. We're live here at I-95 Sports Network, as well as Facebook Live. And anywhere, if you actually also have a smart television with Samsung, you can probably find us on Zingo TV as well. Tonight, I'm back in the saddle. I've been out for the last week, but my co-host and also my compadre and also team captain of the show since I was gone hold it down, my main man, the student of the game, Mr. Kyle Nash. What's up, bro? Long time no speak.
I like that. Team captain, that's good. First of all, hey, listen, I got to tell you, you may have seen last week, I worked really hard to find Shaq Krosky so I can get another beautiful, bald black man to show off the gleam and shine that we get from Mentality Barbershop. I'm just throwing that out there.
Big shouts to our good friends, Mentality Barbershop, 2611 Pine Hills Road in Orlando, Florida. Check out my main man, Corey Lamar, my man, Donald Owens, Lisa J, and everybody over there. And also, if you're on 98.5 The Wire on Saturday mornings between the hours of 7 and 11, check out Corey's radio show. Yes, he stepped in the radio. Yes. I mean, nothing but if you're looking for cookout music and something to cook breakfast in the morning, that's the place to go. As well as our good friends at Valor Music at itsvalor.us, the best place to find anything you need for as far as your marketing goes, social media aspects. My main man, Jay Waddell, and your entire team over there will take care of you. It's its at valor.us. Speaking of Valor, they got the opening segment in sight. So in our What's the Buzz segment, Kyle, I think we're talking about Mitchell Trubisky's new contract. Oh, never mind. The big story of the day, of course, is Patrick Mahomes and the new contract Patrick Mahomes just set out in the NFL today. It was record-breaking. I mean, literally, this is arguably the biggest contract, not just in the NFL's history, but the biggest contract in all of professional sports. Let's put this in perspective, Kyle. It's now, the numbers are now out. 10 years, potentially $503 million. $503 million. So let's put this in perspective. Patrick Mahomes' contract cost more than the Bobcats when Robert Johnson brought the Bobcats back to the NBA in the early part of the mid part of the 2000s. Patrick Mahomes' contract is worth more than the MLS teams when they first started the MLS. He could buy 10 of the original MLS teams with the money he's making, potentially. Hey, Precious. I mean, I'm glad you spoke to Kyle. You know, at least we're in a new environment. Hey, speaking of new environments,
she dropped the shout to both of us first, and then, listen, she was respecting me holding down the fort for you, man. It's all good. She let you see exactly. She there with hey y'all. And first of all, before we get too deep into it, I know you just talked about Valor. Bobby, I'm sure you have it queued up somewhere, but if we could do a rest in peace for a good friend and part of our show who Valor was servicing as the agent, smoke alarm. I'm just saying.
Listen, new environment, new digs, no more beeping, okay? Big shouts to our good friend, The Beep. He's gone now. All right, rest in peace. He's basically resting in peace, just like a lot of professional sports teams in COVID, and we'll get to that in a second. But back to the Patrick Mahomes contract, 10 years, $503 million. All right, Kyle, I'm going to lead off to you. When you first saw that number, what did you think?
Well, you did the motion, but I'll do the sound. $500 million. No, of course I thought it was amazing, but to be honest, I think, listen, I don't see how it's a bad contract. I know people are commenting, why would you pay him that much? Listen, the Chiefs sent a loud and clear message. We don't want you to go anywhere. And all I can tell you is, listen, I hope Andy Reid invites him to Thanksgiving, to Christmas, to every family event. If I'm the Kansas City Chiefs, I want them to be tight like a vice. They need to continue to have a good rapport and a good relationship for that to go. I don't know how long Andy Reid's planning on coaching, but if there's a next coach, you better bet Patrick Mahomes is going to have a say in it on that too. And I don't have a problem with Mahomes getting this contract. And listen, I looked at it. It's 10 years for that number. By the way, side note, from what I see looking up at spotrack.com, only 140 million is guaranteed. So they're taking care of things such as decline in play. If the league should shy away from mobile quarterbacks for whatever reason, like I doubt that'll happen anytime soon because it's amazing to watch and it's very effective. Anything like that could lower or lessen Patrick Mahomes' performance, maybe an injury, maybe he takes the Brady knee injury, it doesn't recover as much, they're protected too. But at the rate now where $40 million a year for a superstar quarterback is not unheard of, Patrick Mahomes is right at that rate. And they're also in a position where they're protected as well. I mean, over 10 years, you can only expect the franchise to do that. And I could even also argue from that extent, it's good to Patrick Mahomes because in another 5 years, if the market goes up and he's in a position where the money isn't guaranteed and all of that, that could be a very interesting bargaining standpoint if he asks for an extension. That being said, I don't see that happening. This is a great deal. This is what you do if you want to be a big force with a big quarterback in the NFL. I think it's great for both sides. If you see a downside, Danny Thompson, I'd love to hear it.
The downside is I'm trying to figure out how many brink strokes is going to take to get the $140 million to his house.
That's a fact.
Here's the specifics of this deal. All right, 10 years, $503 million. Now, $25 million is in performance-based incentives.
Right.
Okay. So Adam Schefter's been breaking the story all day long with Patrick Mahomes because guess what? It's the biggest story of the day in news. And on top of that, the numbers are just insane. So 10 years, 503 is the number, but let's just give a little bit more context to this. All right. $477 million of that contract is in guaranteed mechanisms. So here's the thing. Mahomes has the ability to opt out of this deal.
Right.
During different parts of this contract.
Right.
Okay. That means basically he's not Albert Pujols himself to this deal long enough. All right. It's the first contract in professional sports to hit $500 million. Okay. Mike Trout was close. Mike Trout should have got it. Mike Trout took a home team discount. He should have got the $500 million first.
Let's not talk about baseball players and the overpayment right now. I'm just saying.
So the $25 million guaranteed mechanism works like this. Now, mind you, it's $450 million for the extension. He already had $27 million left in contracts. So it's 12 years, I would say right around 477. All right. So we go from 450 to 477. $25 million in the performance-based incentives. Now, what performance-based incentives it is? Here's the crazy part. Every MVP award he gets is $1.25 million for each MVP award he gets. All right. He gets $1.25 million. So he's got that's an individual incentive. He gets a $1.25 million if his team wins the AFC Championship. So that's also a team incentive as well. So think about that. So players go for individual fees, but Patrick Mahomes is about winning. So every time he hosts that AFC Championship trophy, that's $1.25 million right then and there.
Moreover, that's a lot of free dinner for the offensive lineman. I'm throwing that out there, Danny Thompson.
And also Andy Reid. Okay. All right. So there's opt-out mechanisms all throughout this contract. It really didn't go into real specifics about the opt-out mechanisms. Now, with Mahomes not just setting the market, resetting the market, but extending the market, where do we go from here? Chris Jones, defensive end from the Kansas City Chiefs, a key member of the defense, he wants to get paid now. I mean, he saw Patrick Mahomes. If you've seen the Bugs Bunny GIF, if you type in Bugs Bunny and money GIF, you'll see Bugs Bunny licking his fingers and counting money because that's what Patrick Mahomes is doing now.
Yeah.
Chris Jones wants Aaron Donald money.
So, first of all, I don't want to hear about what any GIF has to say about the NFL. Quarterbacks and defensive tackles don't get paid the same. And listen, I like Chris Jones too, Danny Thompson, but is he Aaron Donald? No.
Okay. He's a very good pass rusher, but but for Aaron Donald money, no.
Yeah, exactly. So what if I'm smart about this, that would be my response. Are you Aaron Donald? Do you have much time left in your career as Aaron Donald? I would think the answer to both of those questions is no. But if he wants to say, I don't know, be able to be paid in maybe a little bit lower at Gerald McCoy money, we'll talk.
Gerald McCoy money? Gerald McCoy Tampa money or Gerald McCoy Carolina Dallas money?
Fair question. And that's something that the agents would have to work out. I mean, listen, Chris Jones compared to Patrick Mahomes is an expendable asset. I think we can agree on that. The Chiefs have won enough games in the regular season, 45-40 to think they'll be okay without Chris Jones. It's that playoff time that they're going to need him, right? if he's willing to take a playoff incentive laden concept like that, where like he gets a good base salary, and then based on how deep in the playoffs, and like, let's say, I don't know if this is precedented, but is there such a thing as a playoff incentive, right? If you get X sacks during the playoffs, you get this many dollars per sack, let's say.
I mean, that's what Mahomes got in his deal.
Right. So, I mean, if he wants a deal like Mahomes, fine, but he's going to have a lot more incentive-laden base to it, because it's not a perfect scenario, but he would be kind of like a big shot Bob Orry. Robert Orry making big plays in the postseason. Now, Chris Jones is a lot more essential to the Chiefs' success than Robert Orry is to any team he played for, not named the Houston Rockets. But what I'm going to say is, if it's something to where they need him more for the playoffs, he needs to get paid a competitive base salary, and then the opportunity for it to blow up in the postseason. That's the only thing I could think of.
And for those wondering if the Kansas City Chiefs can compete with Patrick Mahomes' contract, think about this. The original reports today said that Mahomes was going to hold a certain percentage of the salary cap. That would have crippled the Kansas City Chiefs. Here's why this deal doesn't cripple the Kansas City Chiefs. It allows the Chiefs to repay Chris Jones and also Travis Kelce.
Mm-hmm.
With $140 million as guaranteed and $25 million in incentives, you look at the deal now. The deal looks like it's going to be right around Kyle, get my math out, $375 million.
Okay.
140 and what? 25. You're looking at about $320 million, give or take, over 10 years. That's $32 million a season. It looks like $45 million per season, but if you count the guarantees, it's $32 million.
Right.
Think about this. Dak Prescott's deal for his franchise tag was $31.8 million. If you take away the incentives and take away the guarantees, Patrick Mahomes' per year salary is lower than Jared Goff's. It's lower than just about Dak Prescott. It's lower than Russell Wilson. It's almost as low as Kirk Cousins.
For the base salary, for those listening.
Exactly. And that's what's the most important thing, because the Chiefs have to keep all their pieces in place. $503 million or $477, $450, whatever number you want to use in this deal. The Chiefs gave him $140 guaranteed. And so that means the Chiefs can still be competitive and put playmakers and defensive guys, and like you say, Kyle, your favorite position, the beef, to protect their $500 million investment. Kyle, can we hit that sound again, please? That's how you protect your investment. Now, the market's been reset. Dak Prescott is on a franchise tag, and guess what? Deshaun Watson is sitting there thinking, he's got money waiting for him.
Right.
What when your eyes thinks that's going to happen with the quarterback market now?
Well, I mean, obviously, that's an interesting question, because it really depends on the quarterback and the transcendence of that person they're in, right? I think we're living in a world where Patrick Mahomes has again, nothing's guaranteed, obviously, but the opportunity, the ceiling on him is potentially the next GOAT, right? It's not unreasonable to say that that's possible. I'm not saying it yet. Chill out. Put the pads down, haters. Okay. But that's a possibility. His upside, even though he did what he did last year and had the opportunity to do it again, if somebody didn't jump off sides when Tom Brady threw an interception to end that year, like he did last year for the Patriots, hashtag I said it. He had the opportunity to do this back to back. Right. So this isn't even like the top of what Patrick Mahomes could have been. If I'm his agent, I'm certainly arguing that, listen, he did his job. Y'all could have very well won back to back. Just throwing that out there. So when you have that in mind, when you transition over to a Deshaun Watson, does he have that kind of potential? Sure. But he's always going to be a quarterback that's less than Russell Wilson, less than Patrick Mahomes. Today, obviously, that could all change. At one point, Ryan Leaf was a top draft pick. I'm just saying. But what I find interesting is where the Texans are at. Right? They've made a lot of moves lately. They've paid a lot of guys lately. But I think part of the reason, in addition to any of the locker room tension that existed to Bill O'Brien, and now departed DeAndre Hopkins, this was in the back of somebody's mind that, hey, listen, we need to pay somebody else anyway, and we can't be throwing money at somebody who is too much of a cap hit as well. And now that we're seeing that those machinations are going to be coming when it comes time to pay Deshaun Watson, I think. You don't have to like the move. I don't either. But now that we're here, if you're Houston, that's something else to think about too. With Deshaun Watson, was just very difficult. He is that dual threat quarterback that you are going to require in today's NFL. So if we're talking about Patrick Mahomes making base salary just so, you would have to think Deshaun Watson would have to at least match. And then if he has incentives, maybe not AFC championship incentives, but I'm saying, hey, so long as you get us winning the AFC South, here's a little extra something for you.
I'm going to say this. Deshaun Watson, or I'm not even going to say Dak Prescott. Prescott shouldn't even come close to this.
That's a separate question. Yeah.
Mahomes is on a different level than any other quarterback in the NFL. I think we've all established that.
Right.
But I say this. Because Dak Prescott did not take Jerry Jones's offer, didn't take Jerry Jones up on everything he offered him, whatever the money was, Deshaun Watson will be an unrestricted free agent. I will think of it like this. It wouldn't surprise me if Jerry Jones or maybe 5 or 6 other teams walk up to Deshaun Watson, 7 years, $280 million. I don't think Watson signs a 10-year deal. Watson wants to go. A lot of guys don't want to sign the 10-year deal. A lot of guys want to go back into free agency, kind of the same like LeBron James has done in the NBA. Guys don't sign long-term deals because they want to go back to get more money because guess what? The NFL is about to renegotiate the TV contract. And they're saying the contract is going to be way bigger than the last one. And what does that mean for players and owners? That means the salary cap goes up, which means players get paid more. These television networks, they pay for the NFL. It could be, as long as you have real players in the field, they'll pay for it. So Deshaun Watson, 7 years, $280 million, maybe $300 with incentives, like you said before. I can see Jerry Jones, the Dallas Cowboys, paying Deshaun Watson, a guy with a bigger arm, more accurate, and can move just as well as Dak Prescott. The same money, I would say $40 million a season before guaranteed. I can see Deshaun Watson playing for the Dallas Cowboys next year.
That's an interesting concept too, because listen, much like Dak, Deshaun Watson is also a very positive press conference guy, right? This is a guy who doesn't cause trouble. This is a guy who has even been asked controversial questions and answered back well, right? There was the reporter who asked him about a particular strategy that was doing. Is like, well, did you know what defense they were calling and why it didn't work? And he actually broke down and did some chalk talk right there in the press conference to correct this reporter. I mentioned that to say this. This is a guy, Deshaun Watson is frankly a grown-up that you could pay that kind of money to, and he's got the talent for. However, there's a health factor with him, right? He's already been in a situation on 2 different seasons with the Texans where he was slowed in some way because of injury, right? So I'm not going to say injury prone, but that gives pause for a 10-year deal, right? Now you mentioned a 7-year deal. I'm not ruling that out. Any quarterback, in my opinion, that's as good as the top 5 quarterbacks or better, and I would argue, if you think Aaron Rodgers is number 5, I would argue that he's a way different prospect from a psychological standpoint, so take him out. We'll say the top 4 quarterbacks, right? So I'm talking Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, and Lamar Jackson. Take those 4 guys. You're going to treat them this way and only them this way. Sorry, Dak. I like you, but you shouldn't be making $40 million. I'm sorry. I'm all about quarterbacks getting paid, but you treat quarterbacks a little different in that way. Now, is Jerry Jones really banking on being able to back up the Brinks truck? Is he really thinking, and granted, they're in the same state, maybe he has some sort of intel, I don't know, but I'll tell you what, this way, man, your theory is good. It's a good conspiracy theory, but I'm not giving you a tinfoil hat. And you better bet Jerry has no problem whatsoever being his own version of a Texas Dr. Evil, if you catch my meaning.
Here's the thing with that. What owner has a bigger ego in professional sports than Jerry Jones?
I would argue he's not in the NFL, but I'd say Mark Cuban.
Okay. And what does Mark Cuban and Jerry Jones have in common? They're not scared to open the checkbook up
That's a fact.
to win.
Mhm.
You think about this. Jerry Jones looked really bad in the Dak Prescott negotiations. All right, they both look bad. All right, I'll say why I say both look bad because Jerry always believed that he's able to convince people to take the money. He's always been that way. Now things have changed. Dak Prescott is a guy who was a fourth round pick, making nickels and dimes compared to other quarterbacks in the league. I get it. But what hurt Dak, but the reason why Jerry didn't cut the check was because Dallas hasn't won anything. You put Deshaun Watson behind the Dallas offensive system, the way it's constructed now. Is Dallas a Super Bowl contender?
No, they don't have enough depth, but they'll win a playoff game.
I think Deshaun Watson will be Deshaun Watson get that team to the NFC Championship game with the Cowboys around them. The defense,
different things. Now, if you're talking about get to the NFC Championship, oh sure, you said Super Bowl.
They could get to the Super Bowl.
They can get to the Super Bowl.
They have every weapon that you would need to go to the Super Bowl. The only difference is that Watson is the guy that can get the ball down the field. What they have done is they added CeeDee Lamb. You already have Gallup. You already have Amari Cooper. Watson's had weapons before. The problem was Watson had incompetence at the head coaching position. Mike McCarthy knows how to win. He's won with the quarterback with a strong arm that has mobility, a.k.a. Aaron Rodgers. He's not playing it out. You're not playing outside. And the Dallas defense, when it's healthy, is a top 5 defense in the NFL. The NFC East is weak.
It is. So is the AFC South. I mean, we'll call that what it is too.
But here's the thing: which bottom group is worse? Jaguars and what? Who else is that division? Jaguars,
Titans.
Okay, well, it's actually not as bad. Okay, the Titans are good
now.
Houston, Indianapolis. So the only team in the division that gets beat up is Jacksonville. Washington's not good. The Giants aren't good.
Giants are looking better. I don't think they're that good. And you beat me to it, Mike. Yeah. If you were going to put this all on coaching incompetence in Houston, you forget coaching incompetence has been a thing in Dallas.
I agree.
That. And
Captain Clapp is gone. I get it. Captain Clapp is gone.
Well, also the thing you're leaving out that I think is more important than anything else is mentioned, and you're going to call it my bias, and I don't blame you, but that don't mean I'm wrong. Okay. I know you have a thing against Bill O'Brien, and that's cool. He hasn't always made the best decisions. I don't think he's as bad as you say, but that's a separate. We can make a show out of that. But there's a very key element that I think you've left out, or you were about to mention and haven't yet.
Okay.
All I know for a fact is when he goes from Houston to Dallas, even with Travis Frederick, even with Tyron Smith no longer being a thing, he will be better protected. The only offensive lineman that's in Houston that's impressive is Laramie Tunsil, and they got him last year.
He really wasn't the Laramie Tunsil that we saw in Miami. He did struggle a bit last year.
Right, but again, even Laramie Tunsil, a little air quotes struggling. Not to say you're wrong about him struggling.
It's still better than
everything they've had in Houston ever. Okay,
that's my point. You put Deshaun Watson around the weapons. When I say weapons, the offense line's a weapon in Dallas.
Fair.
Ezekiel Elliott doesn't become Ezekiel Elliott.
And I like Miller. He's not Zeke.
Like I said, you give Deshaun Watson those weapons. Is to me is the equivalent of who else? I would say this. I would even say Cam Newton in New England. It kind of similarities ways because Cam Newton didn't have all those weapons. Fair. He has weapons. And it's a different type of weapon. I think Phillip Rivers has better weapons, a different type of weapons that he does than in San Diego. It is.
Well, yeah, LA/San Diego. You're right. Well,
here's a question. I'll give you this. If Deshaun Watson played for the Denver Broncos, how good do you think the Broncos will be this year?
Oh, I'll tell you. You're right. The only limitation is that they're sharing a division with the Chiefs. That would be tough. Boy, how explosive would that division be, by the way? Holy snap.
What I'm saying is one quarterback can change everything.
Correct.
You put him behind that offense. You put Deshaun Watson behind the Dallas offense, they're an elite team. They're elite. The question for Dallas was, can Dak Prescott win the big game, and can Jason Garrett coach better than a paper bag? Obviously, Prescott has not won the big game, and Jason Garrett is now out of a job.
Prescott has done his job in big games to do it. Let's be clear about that. And I know you're down on that, but what I will add is if you're even on my side of it and you say Prescott has done enough, he should have beaten the Packers, and then Aaron Rodgers went on Aaron Rodgers at the end of that one game, right?
Hey, listen.
They've even sewed up the defense to solve for that problem as well.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Didn't happen. Doesn't matter. Your team didn't win the game.
That does matter.
Listen, in the NFL, if a game falls down, it's always on the quarterback. The same way when it comes to star players in any sport.
So if you jumps off sides and takes away Tom Brady's interception, that's Mahomes' fault? Okay.
Hey, listen. Atlanta, the Super Bowl with the Atlanta Falcons, people blame Matt Ryan for the loss of the Super Bowl.
That's we don't talk about football. That don't make it right.
But what I'm saying is, you look at I'm comparing it in the same way. When Matt Ryan and the Falcons lost Super Bowl, people took it out on Matt Ryan. But people forgot that Devontae Freeman allowed that fumble to happen because he missed the block.
Right.
People forget about, like you said, the 3 false start penalties Atlanta had that killed drives.
Right.
We also forgot the fact that the Falcons played prevent defense in the second half when they're up. And then Kyle Shanahan's play calling went completely conservative.
Right.
That's not, but we look at that and blame the entire Super Bowl loss on Matt Ryan.
But we doesn't run NFL franchises.
What I'm saying is, it does whose fault it is. We all know the difference is, but when the perception is, it's the quarterback. The quarterback always takes the heights and the lows.
Sure,
it is what it is. So Prescott, when I say Prescott hasn't won the big one, yeah, we know why they didn't win because Aaron Rodgers was Aaron Rodgers. But when Dallas fans look at it, Prescott didn't win the big one.
See, but at the end of the day, if you own a franchise and you stick with the Prescott, not that I'm saying Dallas should, let me be clear. But in that scenario, if let's say it happens that Dak stays and the Cowboys get to the NFC Championship, I'm not going to say win the Super Bowl. Obviously, if they win the Super Bowl, all will be forgiven. If Dak and company get to the NFC Championship and they get beat by Russell Wilson, do you really think people are going to blame Dak Prescott for that? Depending on what happens, maybe.
Depends how you play. Depends how you plays. But no, the thing is, if they get to the NFC Championship game, we don't see Dallas doesn't consider Deshaun Watson. They'll re-sign Dak Prescott.
Right.
But the thing for Dak Prescott is they got to get to the championship game.
Right.
I think Deshaun Watson.
I agree. Like I think we agree that Dak. Yeah. Listen, Dak is pulling a Joe Flacco right now. Right. He's bet on himself, and they're praying for the best. He's praying for the best. The Cowboys are like, you want that kind of cash? Prove it.
That's the thing. And that's why I admire Jerry Jones for not digging into a quarterback a la the LA Rams that hasn't done anything. Speaking of quarterbacks, since I was out last week, a quarterback got signed to the NFL and is now on a warpath ready to torch everybody in the NFL, and I can finally be an official fan of Cam Newton.
So
yes.
Wait, you got to understand, though, the background that you're sitting in now, having moved to a different state, matches your home team a little too, or your home team a little too much there. Are you breaking out hives? Are you getting a kitten allergy with that background there? Right?
It's lighting. Next week I'll have a lighting of Mercedes. I have a background that says Mercedes-Benz Stadium next week.
Okay.
So, since I was out last week, Cam Newton and the New England Patriots. We have talked about this on this show for a while, that he was going to the best fit for Cam Newton was New England.
You said that. I didn't.
I've been saying this for the longest. And guess what? Bill Belichick got his man.
When you were out, I gave you credit both nights. I want the record to show that.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the best part about it. Here's how Bill Belichick won the offseason on this one.
Right.
First off, you get Cam Newton, who's very upset. If nobody watches Instagram videos, he's not being coy and non-cocky anymore. He's being bravado now. Bill Belichick got him on like the clearance rack at the Dollar Tree.
Right.
He got him on special at the Dollar Tree, and the Dollar Tree is only $1. All right. Bill Belichick got him for next to peanuts. All right.
That's right.
No. If you're in the Carolinas like I am, Bill Belichick got Cam Newton for the price of a choice soda, which is 39 cents.
Did he say Piggly Wiggly? I'm just asking.
Yes, he got it from Piggly Wiggly. I'm big on the pig, by the way. Guess what? Now you have Cam Newton who's angry, irritated, and felt like Carolina left him for dead. They didn't because this man's taking a beating. You talk about nobody with offensive line. You talk about Deshaun Watson offensive line. Cam Newton hasn't had much of offensive line. Jordan
Correct.
Gross was the only thing he's had.
Correct.
And they've never put a decent offensive line. Trey Turner, he's okay. Nothing to write home about. Cam Newton's been battered, beat up. He hasn't been given offensive weapons, but Cam Newton's also a former MVP a couple years ago. 2 or 3 years ago, by the NFL players, he was the number 1 overall player in the NFL by the NFL players top 100. I think it was 3 years ago. He was number 1 in the entire league.
34.
On,
yeah.
By his peers.
Yeah, but
not by the media. Those media folks. The people play against him.
Right.
He's QB number 1. Now he feels like he's public enemy number 1. And there's nothing better than Bill Belichick trying to prove that he can win without Tom Brady, and Cam Newton proving that he is way better than any quarterback that was in the offseason. This man's getting paid less than I can name some of these names, and it's confounding. None against Tyrod Taylor. He's making less money than Tyrod Taylor. He's making less money than pretty much every backup in the NFL. And
Tony Romo, who's not even playing football.
Listen, me and Cam Newton have probably the same salary right now. Okay? But his is incentive-based. All right, but what I'm saying is, and Bobby, listen, I'm on my Cam Newton tip right now, by the way, since Bobby's in the studio. Big shout out to Bobby Blackjack in the studio. What I'm saying is Cam Newton is being paid peanuts to play in New England. But the heartbreaking thing is, being in Charlotte now, is the fact of this is the second superstar player to leave Charlotte for Boston in the last 12 months. I'm sorry, last 15 months. Because Kemba Walker went to Boston to go play for the Celtics. The best Hornet is now a Celtic. Arguably the greatest Hornet of all time. And Kemba Walker, if you ask some people, he's statistically the best Hornet of all time, is now in Boston. Arguably the greatest player in Panther history. You might love or hate him. Newton is the only MVP in this franchise's history.
Facts.
He's led the team. He's had more Pro Bowl appearances than anything else, any other quarterback that's been in this franchise. He has the most wins as a quarterback. He was also the only quarterback taken with the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah.
He has lived up to it. All right. He's also the NFL's all-time leading rusher at quarterback. That's Cam Newton. Arguably the franchise's best player, now heads up to Boston. Now he's with a situation with Josh McDaniels and Bill Belichick. This is going to be fun. Cam Newton's angry. And sorry, big shout out to my man Ab Stanley, the guys at the 3-point conversion on group chat. No one believes that Cam Newton can do this and pull this off. I got some news for you. The New England Patriots don't only win the division. I think they are good enough with Cam Newton to get to the AFC Championship game. I don't think they can beat the New England Patriots, the Kansas City Chiefs.
No.
They're good enough with Cam Newton because Cam Newton's angry. And remember Cam Newton is one of the few guys in the NFL that can carry a team to the Super Bowl. Look what he did with the year they got him in the Super Bowl. When he was the MVP, Carolina was 15-1. All the Broncos had to do was stop Cam Newton. They shut everything else down. Cam has got nothing to lose, everything to gain. And guess what? He's younger than Matt Ryan. He's younger than Russell Wilson. He's younger than was it Matthew Stafford? I think it's the same age as Matthew Stafford. Younger than Ben Roethlisberger. Younger than Drew Brees. Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Those we mentioned, those quarterbacks that are in front of him. Newton is younger than all of those guys. And they threw him away for next to nothing. So guess what? QB1 or QB2, depending on where he is, what number he's wearing, it's going to be Cam Newton's best season of his career. As long as he is healthy, if he stays upright, and I know they will, the Patriots have a pretty good offensive line, Sony Michel is going to have better running lanes. The last time the Patriots never had a running quarterback or mobile quarterback, look at what Jacoby Brissett did.
Yep.
People don't give Jacoby Brissett that much value, but there's no way a team pays Jacoby Brissett guaranteed money like that if he didn't perform. Go back and watch that Thursday night game he first debuted. I think it was against the Colts on Thursday night.
Texans.
Was Texans?
Yeah.
He had a 27-yard run, and Patriots fans like, what the hell just happened?
What is this? What is this with the running and the quarterbacking and the scoring? What is?
I'm telling you this. Wouldn't it be the best story to see the Patriots and Buccaneers in Tampa in the Super Bowl?
I mean, as a fan, I'd hate it, but it's a damn good story. And here's the problem: the Mike, stop being a homer. Get the comment off my screen. He's smarter than that. The there's one other problem you mentioned other than the Kansas City Chiefs, Danny Thompson. I don't think Cam Newton and the Patriots can beat the Baltimore Ravens. They found a way to get even better, and I could argue they had the best top to bottom roster in the NFL. If they meet up in the playoffs, I'm not prepared to say that the Patriots can beat them. I know they got Belichick, and that's great. But for
the best,
what's that?
Are you counting offense?
Yeah,
I don't. I disagree with that one.
Well, okay.
Baltimore's team is talented.
I'm
not saying New England's more talented, but I think if you go from all the way down top to bottom, to me, with every position, I think the most talented team. This is going to give me hives. Is the New Orleans Saints.
We'll touch on that later. What I am prepared to say, though, is, and I think you'll agree with this, there's no way you can expect the Patriots to get past Lamar Jackson and company. I'm sorry. That's just the fact. Hell, they didn't even get the opportunity to play him last time. Am I right? So even
Henry.
Yeah. Well, even still, like that game, Derrick Henry did a lot, but Tannehill hit the big passes that
didn't he play 7 passes that game? I don't remember very big passes throwing. I remember Derrick Henry running it down your throats though.
No. I get that, but he set up what Tannehill did. That listen, if you had Marcus Mariota in that spot, it wouldn't have happened, ladies and gentlemen.
They wouldn't even been there.
So
and Marcus Mariota is making more than Cam Newton, by the way. But continue.
No, but what I'm going is in that instance, the Ravens lost, and look at Lamar Jackson's numbers, right? He threw damn near 400 yards, right? Had an amazing ground game. The rest of his team wasn't making plays. They've solved for that, right? So I feel like it's a situation where I'm not ready to put the Patriots ahead of the Ravens. Now, to your defense, the reason why your argument does hold water is because the AFC is not the NFC. Like, who else is going to compete? The Texans? No, I don't think so. I like how you revamped the Broncos, but they're not a factor.
Not yet.
I have no reason to believe the Steelers will keep Ben Roethlisberger alive for the entire season next year. I truly hope I'm wrong.
I don't think so. Yeah,
I don't think that's going to work. You think Joe Burrow and company is going to do all that in a bag of chips? No.
No, LSU will win more games than the Bengals will.
Maybe. And I'll leave it. We'll leave that there. And then Cam Newton, in his defense, is the most experienced quarterback in the AFC. But it's possible that Josh Allen takes a leap. And
I don't buy the Bills anyway. That's another story for another day. All right,
you could be wrong all you want. We'll talk about that another time.
Let's give a quick. Before we get into Mount Rushmore, let's get into some quick things around the professional sports. All right, this week in COVID, what has COVID conquered this week? Well, COVID has conquered FC Dallas. Yes, wow. MLS is back on July 8th, and FC Dallas won't be a part of it. Why? COVID-19 struck the team today, and 14 people who were headed to Orlando have now contracted COVID. What does that mean? FC Dallas is now the next team to be pulled from a professional league going into Florida. Don't blame Florida for this, by the way. You can blame COVID, not Florida. For those who are thinking going to Florida is a bad idea, not one player has tested positive on a professional team in the state of Florida. Okay? No matter what happens, they shouldn't go to Florida. They caught COVID wherever they were. They weren't nowhere in Florida, by the way. What else has COVID cost this week? Well, there's a big UFC fight on Saturday night. Kamaru Usman versus Burns.
Yeah.
Burns is now out because Burns tested positive for COVID. He's now out. Now, Jorge Masvidal will take his place in the fight on Saturday in Fight Island, by the way. But here's the thing. He's got to pass a COVID test.
Oh, God.
The WNBA is getting ready. The WNBA is getting set to come down to Florida for the start of their season. Out of 137 tests, 7 of the ladies have tested positive for COVID. Now, here's all the news. Liz Cambridge, star of the Las Vegas Aces, she's now out because she's at high risk of her health. Because if she catches COVID, she's at high risk. All right.
Conditions and whatnot. Yes.
Yes. On top of the rest of the girls who are not playing because of COVID. LA is the LA Galaxy star Carlos Vega, the league's reigning MVP, will not be playing in Orlando because him and his family have been barred because his wife is pregnant. So he won't be attending. Garrett Temple of the Brooklyn Nets will be leaving the Nets during the bubble and the playoffs because his wife is due with a baby this summer. Okay? Do not want to risk COVID. All right. So guess what? COVID's winning here, ladies and gentlemen. We haven't even talked about college football and how does it affect COVID. We haven't even talked about professional Major League Baseball. Oh, by the way, baseball shut down the Nationals and the Astros this week due to COVID. Wow. Now, but if you have enough time, you can put Yes Network on television on mute and listen to us because there's some baseball game going on, an exhibition baseball game with the Yankees on the Yes Network. I don't know how that's even going on. All right. Other things in Major League Baseball, speaking of that, they released a 60-game schedule coming up this week. Yes, we know it's time for Mount Rushmore, Precious. Don't worry. We're getting there.
We got you, girl. We got you. Hang in.
All right. So Major League Baseball released a 60-game schedule. Opening day, we'll see, I think, is Dodgers and Giants and Nationals and Yankees. Don't do this. There's no bubble in baseball. Okay? These players are flying from city to city. This ain't going to last long, by the way. See, Mike DeSantis is the post. A lot of people are doing that.
That is a star player for this show having to take a step back, man. But we're going to keep playing hard for you, Mike, because we want something to keep you going as you try to battle through, your situation, man. And we'll keep your mind right so you can get through your surgery after COVID, man. We got you. You're a part of this team, man.
The only league who's gotten it right might be the NHL, because guess what they're doing?
Uh-oh.
They're restarting on August 1st, and they're doing it in Canada. They have canceled every single major American city. They thought about Vegas. Vegas had an outbreak of COVID. Chicago, New York, they're now going to Canada. Toronto and Edmonton are the two leading places for hockey in Canada. Guess what? Canada doesn't have the outbreak of COVID like the United States. NHL, you win again.
Hey, listen, they went from blame Canada to claim Canada. That's all I'm saying.
Listen, I love Canada, by the way. Great, best maple syrup in the world. Finally, last thing before we get into Mount Rushmore, the NHL and Players Union said it will start August 1st, extend the CBA. And Dale Snyder's three of his partners want to bail out because the Redskins and the Native Americans want to get a name change. Businesses and now the Native Americans wanted a name change. So Dale Snyder's partners, they want out because Snyder is kind of reluctant on changing the name. At this point in time, Daniel, you're losing Nike, a whole bunch of corporate sponsors. Now your owners are trying to bail, your co-owners are bailing out. I think it's time for a change, my friend.
Hey, real quick, before we go on, I want to suggest what I think my favorite name has been so far. If they do change the name, I think they should become the Washington or the DC, depending on how you feel, the Red Tails. How you feel about that, Danny Thompson?
Not bad.
Go ahead.
Is there historical significance behind it? I'm down for it.
The Red Tails reference the Tuskegee Airmen, bro.
Exactly. Now, big shouts to Paul Myers. Me and him were talking earlier today. Him and his dad came with the idea of the DC. I think he said the DC Defenders, or I think it was DC Defenders. I think it was. I might have messed up completely. My brain's completely fried. Moving just everything out of it.
I'll say it.
Right.
The reason why I dig the Red Tails is it went from being something offensive to a people to something that commemorates something special in the history of POCs. I just think it's a good transition. It's a cool logo. I think it's a win all the way around. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Listen, I'm all for the Washington Generals. Buy the name off the team and make them a winner.
They have offered to sell it.
Exactly. All right. So let's go to our favorite part of the show, Mount Rushmore. So for those who don't know Mount Rushmore, this is one of the more entertaining segments of the show. So what me and Kyle do every week is we talk about Mount Rushmore, but not the presidential side of Mount Rushmore.
Heavens, no, not after that speech.
No. But hey, since we talk about city of Washington and presidents, it's the perfect way to transition. So what we do is I give Kyle a topic and he gives his four favorites, which is Mount Rushmore. That's how it works. So Kyle, I know I've been out the last week. I know Mount Rushmore has been a little different without me, but Kyle, and this way, Kyle's in the hot seat tonight because I got the topic for him. So, Kyle.
It's been boring not having you fight me. Bring it.
All right. So, tonight's Mount Rushmore topic, Kyle. This is a tough one. What is your Mount Rushmore of candy?
This is a solid go-to for you, Danny Thompson. I'm very proud of you bringing a topic that's special to a fat man. And you know what? I'm okay that it didn't wait for October, because that's the last thing I knew is think about more candy at Halloween. But listen,
I didn't mention Halloween candy. This is candy in general. Because I promise you, if you say candy corn in any of these these four tonight, I'm throwing something at you.
First of all,
virtually.
The fact that you brought that up, the only reason I'm not walking off the show right now because you pulled that low blow and insulted me down to my very soul is because it's your first night back and I don't think you know better. And that's okay. I love you, Danny Thompson. The fact your fam should be proving right now that you insinuated I like candy corn. That door is right there and my butt will be through it. Any other time you try to talk about candy corn and me liking it, especially on this show.
Hey, listen, a lot of folks like candy corn. I have candy corn colors on tonight. So listen. It is what it is. All right, Kyle. Mount Rushmore of candy and go.
Listen, I'm sorry. You don't have to agree with me on this. I'm not even telling you the wrong. I'm the problem. I am a peanut butter fiend, ladies and gentlemen. And if you do not have Reese's peanut butter cups on your Mount Rushmore, it ain't my Mount Rushmore. Hashtag not my Mount Rushmore. But Reese's peanut butter cups, and oh, by the way, I even like Reese's peanut butter cups in my damn Blizzard. Anyway.
Okay.
I know not everybody likes coconut. Coconut rubs my fancy the right way. And every now and again, sometimes I feel like I'm a nut. Just crazy. That's why I go with Almond Joy on my Mount Rushmore. You got almonds, you got coconut, the chocolate. I'm there all the way around. Bring it in. Listen, I normally wouldn't have said that. And then I caught myself back before I was losing weight, devouring bags in a sitting, not even thinking about it. Okay. Listen, I may not want to admit it, but that's evidence in itself. And I don't know if they got me on camera, but the government might, and they'll play it at the trial if I try to deny it. Almond Joy is number 2 on there as well. Next up, go with something a little fruity. See, I got Precious' vote. I'm cool in the gang. Boom. I might as well quit now. Good night, Danny Thompson. No. First of all, listen, I'll give you credit, Mike. Skittles makes the honorable mention, but I can't commit. I'm sorry. Chocolate, I'm too much of a chocolate fiend. However, the only non-chocolate I will put on the Mount Rushmore, and listen, call me biased, Daddy's little girl is asleep in the other room right now, but my girl loves Starburst. And Starburst is that juicy good time that you like to make happen every now and again. When chocolate has just been a little bit too much, you go ahead and you go there, get some Starburst for number 3, okay? And lastly, this one's going to be a kind of a black horse. No one's going to be ready for this. I love dark chocolate. And no, I'm not just saying that because I want to look better. No, dark chocolate is where I'm at. Now our laters are good, but I got rid of them when I was in middle school. I'm sorry. It's a me problem. My teeth aren't as good. I don't want to chew that long. But I got to go with the Milky Way Dark. First of all, that silver wrapper is beautiful, folks. And I love dark chocolate. You get that in the nougat. Hell, I can eat that with coffee, and it's still a great time. Holla at your boy. So, because I know Danny's going to ask, and I've started to make more of a habit of trying to remember because I don't want to look stupid trying to remember. I got Reese's. I got Starburst. I got Almond Joy. I got Milky Way Dark. Danny Thompson.
Bobby in the studio, you there? We'll get Bobby's opinion on this.
Yeah.
I know
What's up,
Bobby's
guys?
in the studio.
There he is.
All right, you want my top
There we
5?
go.
All right, here's my
Now-
top 5, not in order. M&M's peanut,
Okay.
Kit Kat, Twix,
Twix is good. I can get behind Twix.
any fruit variety of Mike and Ike, the bomb, and the most underrated candy bar in the history of candy bars, whatchamacallit.
Whatchamacallit is damn right underrated. He's got a point. It wouldn't make my mountain, but I respect you for throwing it out.
You know what? Whatchamacallit to me is like, wow, underrated.
Mr. Goodbar is the most underrated for clarity, but I see you getting in there, Mike. You got a point. I mean, you're out of your mind with the Heat bar, but everything else is on point. I got you. But
okay. All right. So let me give you my Mount Rushmore candy. First and foremost, the team captain of my Mount Rushmore. I'm sorry, Kyle. Me and Marshawn Lynch have this in common. Skittles runs everything. Okay.
I said honorable mention.
It's the team captain. It's the starter. It's the GOAT of all candies.
Skittles
is the GOAT.
I can't do that.
Skittles is the GOAT. Okay. Skittles is Michael Jordan. Skittles is Tom Brady. Skittles is Tiger Woods in his prime. Okay. It gets no better than Skittles. Okay. There's 50 different versions of Skittles, and all of them are ridiculous. All right. Skittles is the leader in the pack.
Respect.
All right. So when you go to number 2, I know this one. Nobody mentioned this one. Where's Snickers involved in this?
It's a granddaddy. I wouldn't put it up there now, but in its day.
Listen, Snickers is the Vince Carter of candies because it goes multiple decades. Okay, it doesn't get the respect it deserves, but on this night, Snickers gets its prop.
I respect it. Listen, Snickers would have won a few of the dunk contests, just like Vince Carter did. I'm with you on that.
Listen, when you're hungry, Snickers takes all that away. All right. Now, Kyle, I will agree with you about Starburst. Starburst is the top 3. Okay. Listen, multiple flavors, multiple styles. No matter what color of everybody has their different favorite colors of it. I'm not a big fan of the yellow pack. I kind of I go more towards the tropical flavors.
Mm-hmm.
So, Starburst because of the versatility. Starburst is like is your utility back. It's kind of like your Christian McCaffrey. It can run, it can catch, it can block, it can do everything. All right. Now, 4th on my list. This was a hard one because I love Reese's. Just had I just polished off a whole bag of white Reese's over the weekend.
I don't blame you.
All right. Now and later, that Precious said throw it away. All right. But
hold on. Precious, Laffy Taffy is like cheap now or laters. You're not impressing anybody. Go ahead. I said it.
I mean, Laffy Taffy is the okay, how can I put it? Laffy Taffy to me is just like
again now with black licorice. Look at this guy.
Laffy Taffy is the Blake Bortles of candy. There we go. All right. Now, the 4th one on my list, this was a hard one. Like I said, Reese's is up there. But to me, what makes candy, you got to go with Gummy Worms. The flavored Gummy Worms. Yes, I said Gummy Worms.
You just skip right over the Bears. Screw you, Bears. I want them worms.
No, because the Trolls have the Gummy Worms with the coat, the sugar, the candy coat on them. They have different animals on them. They have octopus. I've even seen ferrets and also seen squirrels. Okay. All right. Yes.
It's a nature show.
Listen, the Trolls folks have come up with the best version of candy. When I had candy, it had candy sloss. They had candy sloss. Okay. I was able to be at my desk eating candy sloss. Damn it makes the top 4 just because of the fact of I can get my animals on, I can watch Animal Planet, and also eat them without actually eating them. Okay? So, I'm going with Gummy Trolls, Snickers. I lost my train of thought.
Snickers.
Starburst, and the granddaddy of them all, the team captain of Skittles. And no, I will not be logging off. Not a chance.
First of all, I like the fact that Bobby moved his screen just at that time to make it look like you were about to log off. That's fine. But listen, from now on, if you're going to skip over gummy bears like that, I'm going to throw back from Friday and start calling you Big Worm. All you need is is a perm on your head now. Maybe I can help you with that mentality. I don't know.
Listen, all I'm saying is if you've never had a gummy sloth, you need to go find one. Go to 7-Eleven. They're in the candy section, okay? They're candy sloths. All right? Now, it doesn't make you move like a sloth. It doesn't turn you into the sloth, even though I did the girl. But gummy sloths are amazing. Okay.
Listen, all I'm saying, if we're going to talk candy, Precious had 2 very interesting points. First of all, $100,000 as an underrated candy bar gets plenty of points too. Precious is on point with that. But listen, I'm going to call Precious for the rest of tonight with this candy action. I'm going to call her Candy Cane, the way she tried to pull you right off the stage like you were a cartoon with a cane off the edge when you came up with Gummy stuff.
Well, this is Showtime at the Apollo, okay? And no one's pulling me off unless you're dancing afterwards, okay? It's not happening. Not on this watch. But, Kyle, before we go, any shout-outs?
Hey, listen, man. I got to throw some big shouts to everybody who checked in with me on the comments while you were gone. I had a great time doing it. Shouts to Danny for giving me the opportunity, and trusting me to go in the driver's seat. And, of course, huge shouts to our own Bobby Blackjack for making it hold down. Dude, this cat helped me launch a show while he was on the road back from Maryland on vacation, okay? That is what I'm talking about. And I enjoyed it all the way around. And one more shout to BP, Shaq Krosky, for their time coming in to help out. I had a great time. And Danny Thompson, I'm glad to have you back. We're going to do some bigger and better. And Danny Thompson facing his fear with the kitten's background in his screen. Rodney, I wish you could see this. You be laughing. Holla at you, boy.
Bobby,
Kyle, real quick. Kyle, real quick. When I was at that rest area, I didn't tell you this. That was pretty scary, though. Did you ever sit an hour in a rest area on a major highway? You see some really weird characters walking around. I don't know. I was ready to, I wish I had a bat with me. I was waiting to hit somebody because, I don't know, just a weird place to be more than 5 minutes.
Hey,
I was sitting there under a gazebo and a picnic table with my iPad and my phone, just watching everybody, make sure no one gets too close to me. But we got through it. That's the important thing.
Hey, listen, you got through it, and I know you spent that hour waiting, but that hour was given back to the people. And from what I could tell, we had a pretty quality show. It was a good time. Precious, I'm glad you checked in tonight too. I missed you. And hey, listen, $100,000 is great candy. You deserve your props for bringing it up.
Well, before we go, big shout outs to first and foremost our good friends at Valor at itsvalorits.us. If you're looking for any type of, if you have music, marketing, social media, you're doing television, need music, any type of social media outreach, please reach out to them. The best people in the world. You see them in the corner. Big shout outs to Mentality at 2611 Pine Hills Road, my main man Corey Lamar. And yes, even though I'm not in Orlando and you are in the Orlando area, please go give them a look when it comes to getting your haircut. The best in the entire country. Yes, I am not in Orlando anymore.
He said it.
Yes, if you see the background, unfortunately, it looks kitten-like. But yes, I'm in. I was out last week due to relocating states. Officially settled in, so it's good to know that in watching the show over the last week that Kyle, you did an outstanding job last week. Holding the whole entire fort down. It shows each week that I can take a step away, and the show is just as good as it is when I'm not here. So big shout outs to you. Big shout outs to Bobby for sitting out in a rest area in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the night. Listen, you are an MVP for that one, sir.
Staring at 80 characters.
Listen, a rest area at 2:00 in the afternoon is scary enough, but rest area at nighttime in the dark, Bobby, you get my respect on that one. Big shout outs to everybody in the chat. Mike DeSantis, hope you get better with that back surgery. Like I said, first and foremost, everybody stay safe for COVID. Also, at the same time, it's good to be back in Charlotte. Good to be back in a place where it's home. A lot of, and just everything else. Also, big shout outs to every person who shared the show, liked the show, and also tagged the show. And also, big special shout outs to the lady at the house who's probably watching, hopefully, for in the process of helping me move and get settled in. I appreciate you, and like I said, and everything you did for me this week. Also, big shout outs to everybody in the studio. And guess what? We're back Thursday night. We got a lot more we didn't discuss. There's more with the NBA, and the reason why we're waiting for Thursday for the NBA is because players are actually showing up as early as tomorrow in Orlando to start the bubble because the quarantine process starts, which means the NBA will get itself up. We'll also preview MLS of what teams are still left in MLS. We'll also talk National Women's Soccer as well, too, because guess what? They're the only professional league taking precedence in America, and guess what? They're still playing. Oh, and by the way, for those who are not watching the TBT, this could be a preview of what the NBA looks like. I mentioned this earlier. The TBT, which is one of the best basketball tournaments of the country, these guys are playing for $1 million. It's basically one game and done, NCAA tournament style. They've had 24 teams in the tournament. They've had to replace teams because players have caught COVID. The worst case of this happened yesterday where a team going into the quarterfinals was automatically disqualified when one of the players caught COVID.
No. Wow.
All I'm saying is it's a dangerous precedent that the rest of these leagues are setting. NHL, go to Canada. For myself, Bobby Blackjack in the studio, and the student of the game, Mr. Kyle Nash. We'll catch you guys out on Thursday night. It's 10:05. We're a little bit over. Peace.